Hello viewers watching today's video. In the harsh journey between the cold ice and snow of the Arctic region, there are people who still work hard day and night to make a living. To find a way to make a living in the wild. And today, we will follow the brave fishermen, seal hunters. People who face the bitter cold and fierce challenges to hunt animals that live in the ice and snow, seals. This journey is not just a story about survival. This is a traditional art. An indispensable part of the lives of many communities living near the Arctic Ocean. They hunt seals not only for meat, but also for skin, fat and even bones, making full use of each part, not letting anything go to waste. Let's start this journey of discovery. Winter in the Arctic is unlike anywhere else on Earth. The wind is cold, the snow is white and the ice is thick and thick, stretching to the horizon. On that white background, the sleds cut through the ice and rush forward. On the sleds are fishermen dressed in thick clothes, carrying spears, knives, and ropes, classic but effective tools. The seal hunt usually begins at dawn, when the sun is just barely visible on the horizon. Experienced hunters have to carefully observe the cracks in the ice, where seals often come up to breathe. Locating the seals requires extremely delicate skills. Faint traces such as skid marks, or faint sounds under the ice, can be signs that a seal is nearby. And when the opportunity comes, the hunter will gently approach, hold his breath and quickly throw the spear. Seals often rest on the ice, looking slow, but in fact they are extremely alert. Just the slightest noise or wrong move, they will slide quickly into the ice hole and disappear into the cold water. Therefore, approaching the seal must be very skillful. The hunter crawls low, almost pressed against the ice, holding firmly the long spear with a sharp iron hook at the tip. The spear throw must be precise down to the second, because if it misses even a little, the seal will escape. When the spear hits the target, the seal will struggle violently. The hunter immediately rushes forward, holds the rope tightly, and pulls the animal towards him. This is a moment that requires both strength and calmness. The sound of the wind whistling, the sound of the rope tightening, and the sound of the animal struggling all blend together, creating a tense atmosphere that is suffocating. After the seal is controlled, the hunter will proceed to cut the meat on the spot, because if not handled promptly, the seal's body can be frozen or damaged due to harsh weather conditions. The sharp knife is pulled out. Each precise, decisive cut is made. Peeling off the thick skin and fat from the animal's body. The thick fat of the seal, often called blubber, is a valuable ingredient that can be used as fuel, skin care, or to make special dishes. The meat is cut into squares and neatly arranged on ice. Some people will take it home to make soup. Others will salt it or dry it for long-term use. For Arctic communities, it is an important source of nutrition during the long, cold winter months. Contrary to what many people think, Hunting seals is not a cruel act. For communities living in the wild, it is an essential part of life. They do not hunt to waste, they hunt to survive. Every part of the seal is used. The seal skin is peeled, dried and tanned to make clothes, shoes, and even kayaks. The blubber is boiled down into oil, used for lighting, cooking, or skincare in cold. Dry weather. The meat is cooked, dried, or fermented into traditional dishes. Seal bones are sometimes crafted into tools or decorations. For the Inuit and other Arctic peoples, seal hunting is a part of their culture. Children are taught how to distinguish seal tracks, how to hold a spear, how to cut meat, as a rite of passage. When the hunt is over, the sleds return one after another. Each sled carries dozens of kilograms of seal meat, carefully rolled skins. And cans of grease. The wind is still blowing hard. The snow is still white. But on the hunters' faces is satisfaction, because they have completed a sacred task for both their families and the community. Back at their residence, the women will receive the meat to prepare, cook, or preserve. The skins are hung up to dry. The grease is put into large pots to melt. Everyone shared the fruits of the hunt together. Like a small party in the cold winter. Life in the snow and ice is not easy. But it is there that people have learned to adapt, survive and live in harmony with nature. They do not hunt out of greed, but out of necessity. Each spear thrown carries respect, tradition, and the lives of many generations. Thank you for watching the video. The journey to hunt seals, although harsh but meaningful, has shown us the courage and ingenuity of fishermen in the far north. If you find this video interesting, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel to continue watching the next exciting journeys. After peeling off the thick skin from the seal's body, the next step is to process the skin, a job that is just as important as hunting. Seal skin is very thick, waterproof and retains heat well, so it is considered an ideal material for making coats, shoes, and even roofs for traditional houses. At the camp, people stretch the skin on a wooden frame, using a knife or scraper to remove the remaining fat. This work requires patience and precision, if too strong. It can tear the skin, if too gentle. It will not remove all the fat, leading to the skin being damaged after drying. The skin is then soaked in salt water or a special fermentation solution to soften it. This process can last from several days to several weeks, depending on the climate and the intended use. When it has reached a moderate softness, people dry the skin on rocks or upright wooden frames. Taking advantage of the weak sunlight and cold wind to dry naturally. Once finished, seal skins can be sewn into thick coats, hunting pants, or wrapped into snowshoes. These garments are not only durable but also provide excellent warmth, essential in the harsh weather conditions of the Arctic. Seal meat is dark red in color, has a beefy texture, but has a distinctive smell and is rich in iron. To the uninitiated, the taste can be a bit strong. but for the indigenous people, it is a valuable part of the diet. One of the most popular dishes is seal soup, a dish made by stewing seal meat with vegetables, potatoes, onions, and local spices for many hours until tender. This dish helps to warm the body, providing energy and nutrients during the cold winter. Fermentation: the Inuit have a tradition of fermenting seal meat in earthen pits lined with hay, burying it for many weeks to create a strong flavor. This dish is often served with other fermented fat or fish. Drying: the meat is sliced thinly, hung on wooden racks outdoors, and left to dry in the cold wind. It can be kept for months without refrigeration. Frying or grilling: some modern families use gas stoves or ovens, processing the meat into dishes similar to regular grilled meat or braised meat. Seal fat: the thick white part under the skin, is cut into small pieces and melted into oil. This oil can be used to fry food, lubricate chapped skin, or light traditional oil lamps. For people in the Arctic, just one seal can feed an entire family for days, even weeks. For many indigenous communities such as the Inuit, seal hunting is more than just a way to find food. It is a ritual, an identity, a tradition passed down through generations. Before each big hunt, and so, in the bitter cold of the Arctic, the seal hunters silently continue their 1,000-year-old tradition. It is a life that no one can imagine, where every meal is a battle with the harsh nature. But their bravery does not stop at the cold white ice. As the sun slowly sets behind the sea, and the ice floes melt to give way to the deep black water, a new journey begins, this time below the water, where the real predators lurk. Sharks. Unlike seals, sharks are masters of the ocean. They are fast, fierce and dangerous. A small mistake can cost the fishermen their lives. But for those who are used to living on the edge of life and death, such fear is just part of the job. On the old but storm-hardened fishing boat, large iron hooks are thrown into the deep sea along with fresh bait. The hundreds of meters long fishing line quickly sank into the cold ocean, where the light could not penetrate, where sharks were lurking around the dead fish. It began to get dark. The sea was silent as if holding its breath. Then suddenly, the alarm buoy jerked violently, vibrating urgently. The sailors shouted, "The hook is there!" Each person took their position. The whole ship seemed to wake up. They began to pull the line, meter by meter, in suffocating tension. The line was heavy, as if pulling up a monster. And then, the fins rose up first, sharp as blades. A large shark appeared, thrashing violently, white foam flying in the ship's lights. The animal growled, fighting to its last breath. But But the fishermen here were all too familiar with that scene. They skillfully held the line tightly, controlling it like a circus performer. A secondary hook was thrown into the fish's body, then quickly pulled it up to the deck, where the shiny blades waited. Blood spilled on the wooden floor. The shark's breathing quickened and then stopped. There was no cheering, just a silent nod among those who knew the price of each victory. Soon, the work of cutting the shark began. The thick, rough skin of the shark, like industrial sand, paper, was peeled off layer by layer with precise technique. The shark meat was cut into blocks and filled into ice buckets. The fins, the most valuable part, were kept separately, because they were the ingredient in shark fin soup, famous in many parts of the world. The large liver was squeezed for oil, a concentrated shark oil that was once a panacea for the ancient Eskimos. But shark fishing was not always smooth. Sailing. Some days, the hook pulled up was only a mangled piece of carcass, evidence that another, bigger, stronger shark had just taken the bait. And there are nights when the whole boat has to anchor in the middle of the rough waves, fighting against sudden storms and the cold gaze of the deep sea, where no one knows what awaits below. The more you look into the eyes of experienced fishermen, the more you understand. Hunting seals on the ice and hunting sharks underwater are two different worlds. But both require the same thing, courage and respect for the sea. Each spearhead, each fishing line carries life, experience, and the tradition of many generations of seafarers. Whether facing a seal hiding behind a hole in the ice or a sharp-toothed predator in the vast ocean, in the end, fishermen are always the ones who quietly keep the rhythm of life of the sea.